Hi, my name is Dale Long. I'm with Western Cross Ranch Foundation. I want to tell you a little bit about, why I'm talking to you today. A lot of you may or may not know the effects or even understand what post-traumatic stress is. That's most commonly referred to as PTSD. This has been around for a long time, folks. This is not something that's just recently happened in the past 10 years or even 20 years. Back in the days of previous veterans and military personnel, it was called shell shock. And my dad was a two-time Vietnam vet, two-time tour in Vietnam, and he suffered from the effects of post-traumatic stress, or what we called back then shell shock. I was a child growing up in that family, and I knew firsthand, what went on with a parent that had returned from overseas and served in the military and suffered from post-traumatic stress. I didn't understand it completely, but then once I joined the service and spent time in the military, the U.S. Army, I became to, have a better understanding of exactly what it was. What it is, and what people don't want to talk about is, the things that we had to do in the military to serve our country that maybe weren't, that weren't something that you wanted to share. As a kid growing up, my dad never talked about Vietnam really, and probably a lot of your parents, if you had parents or family members that were in that type of environment, they didn't talk about it either. Because in the military they teach us take out all that dark stuff that's in our lives, the things that we've seen, the things that we've done, the missions that we've had to complete, and we learn to take those emotions and we pack them way down deep in our souls, in a dark place that we don't ever want to come to light. Problem is they don't stay down there. Problem is they start to surface, and when they do, they can have, and a lot of times have, devastating effects on not just the warrior, but the warrior's family, the spouses and the children, the relatives, the friends, the families, the mothers of the service members and stuff like that. We don't talk about it. You ask us what's wrong, we'll tell you nothing. Well, that's not true. There's a lot wrong. It takes a lot of courage for a veteran, military member to talk about their time of service and what they did. It's not that we're embarrassed by it. We voluntarily laid down our lives so we would have freedom in this country that no other country enjoys like we do. And we did it willingly. It was an honor to serve. It was my honor to serve, just like all these other guys and gals that were out there doing the job at hand. But it came at a cost. And that cost is post-traumatic stress. Now, there were a lot of physical injuries that happened because of time overseas in combat environments. And those were pretty easy to identify. You look at somebody that's been over there in the U.S. military that has a prosthetic limb, that's easy to see. Somebody in a wheelchair, easy to see. Somebody that's having to use a service dog, a CNI dog, because they've got a traumatic head injury and they're blind, that's easy to see. They got a cane, easy to see. Walk with a limp, easy to see. External scars, easy to see. What you can't see is the internal scars. These guys and warriors and ladies that come back, they don't know what to do with those scars. They're deep and they're starting to surface and they're causing havoc in their lives. And so they need a way to be able to stop the pain. But to do that, they have to do something that's very tough to do. And I can tell you from experience, and if I get a little bit emotional about this stuff, it's only because I want you to know, that this is important. To tell people the stories of why we have that internal pain, we're afraid of. We're afraid to tell you what we've done. We're afraid of what we've seen. Because you can't undo and you can't unsee what you already have. It's part of you. It lives inside of you every day. And for a lot of people, a lot of these veterans and warriors coming back, it's hard to deal with. The reason they're afraid to tell people about it is they don't want to be seen as monsters. So it takes a lot of courage on the part of these veterans and prior military to tell their stories and open up about them, and be honest and confront them. And they need a place to do that without retribution. Most of the treatments today involve some kind of drug therapy. They're handing them a pill that's supposed to help them sleep or feel better or whatever. These people are suffering with sleep apnea and night terrors and nervousness and anxiety and depression. And the worst one of all, they're dealing with thoughts of suicide, a lot of them. If you don't believe me, go Google the 22. And it talks about the fact that 22 veterans on a daily basis are committing suicide. That's a ridiculous number. That number is so astronomical. That's 8,000 suicides of U.S. military personnel a year. That's active duty and veterans. So it's not just the people that have come back and they're out anymore and they're not in their green uniform. That's soldiers as a whole. That doesn't even take into account the fact that it could be, a spouse or a child that they get to the point they take their lives. That number, whatever that is, isn't even included in the 22. So the number is a lot larger than we even think it is. As Americans, for me, as a brother and a sister of these military personnel, we have a responsibility, a duty, if you will, to help them, to return the favor for their sacrifice. And it's going to take all of us. It's not just one of us, it's not just a few of us, it's all of us. It's going to take all of us. And we've got to do something about it. Probably the most famous incident that everybody is aware of because it was so publicized in a movie was called The American Sniper. It was portrayed by Bradley Cooper, who played Chris Kyle, who was a Navy SEAL, as everybody knows, and he was the American Sniper. And he comes back and he has to deal with all the issues that all the other veterans and prior military have had to deal with their families that don't understand what they went through, where they were, and they're afraid to share with them. But he found an outlet where he started helping veterans. And unfortunately, one of those veterans took their lives, and at the same time took Chris Kyle's life. This has to stop. We have to work together. There's programs out there that are doing great work. They're doing it with equine therapy. And equine therapy has been around for a while. It's not something new that just happened because of veterans. This has been around. They've been working with autistic children that were shut down and encapsulated and, who couldn't communicate. And they put them in this program with horses. And let me tell you something. God made an amazing thing when he made a horse. See, there's something magical about them. That when we put an autistic child with a horse, the barriers and the walls start coming down. And the child starts communicating in ways people didn't think it was possible. They start to open up and they start to flourish and they start to, miracle things happen. Just ask an autistic family taking care of an autistic child that's had an equine therapy session and ask them what that day was like. Ask them the joy that it brought them. So now we're using equine therapy with soldiers, and there's some good programs out there. As far as I can tell, there's probably not a lot of them that are doing what we're going to do at Western Cross Ranch. They do outpatient therapy basically, and that is the patient, the soldier, the warrior. They come to the ranch and they spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever the time frame is, once a week for an 8-week period most of the time, and they work with the team and the staff and the horses. And it helps them. I think I can do more. I think Western Cross can do more. I want to do a week-long project. Instead of 16 to 20 hours of equine therapy, I want to give the veterans and ex-military a full week of equine therapy. And on top of that, I want to bring the spouses in and the children in with that. See, because when you bring it all together and they learn what the triggers are, and the children learn that the dad's not mad or mom's not mad at them, that it's not about them, it's not the cause of them. And then the spouse of those men and women who've served, they start learning, how to cope and how to help them with their triggers and how not to push the buttons. Well, that also, is going to help heal and make the family unit stronger. When you make that family unit stronger, you start taking care of the problem, and it doesn't take a pill to do it. You involve the horse, you involve the family, you involve the staff, you involve the kids, and they're working together to make life better for the family. And that's the main core of what I want Western Cross to be about. I want to stop the suicides. If I can bring families to that ranch, and if I save one family, one veteran, one spouse, one child from having the thoughts of committing suicide, then we've done something, and that's a miracle. And we can do it together. The ranch is going to basically be a safe haven. It's going to take courage on the part of the veteran to come there and open up with their family, to open up with the staff, to allow the horse do its magic, to work with them and help heal them. It takes a lot of courage to do that, because in the military we were taught, don't share your feelings, hide those emotions, bury them way down in the dark abyss. Problem is, they keep coming back up, and the pills aren't taking care of them. They're not stopping the nightmares, they're not stopping the fear, they're not stopping the anxiety, they're not stopping the stress, they're not stopping the anger, they're not stopping the depression, and obviously they're not stopping the suicides. It's going to take a nation to heal these warriors. And I'm calling on everybody that's hearing this and looking at this to please participate. They'll get there. They'll spend a week of working with the horses. They'll spend a week of enjoying their families. It's going to be a place of safety and fun. We're going to have barbecues and you know, campfires and s'mores and, you know, ATV riding and fishing and horseback riding and trail riding and downtime and relaxation, as well as, you know, working with them to help them, you know, cope and deal with and understand exactly what they're up against, and give them real tools. And if when they get there, they need a compassion or a companion dog, not a service dog, but one of these beautiful animals that they can take home with them, we're going to hook them up with one of those at no cost. None of this is going to cost the veteran and their family a dime. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to cost money, because it is. And that's where you come in. So what I'm asking you to do is reach out to me at westerncrossfoundation@gmail.com. That's westerncrossfoundation@gmail.com. I'm also setting up a GoFundMe page, because there's a lot of groundwork to be done before we can start the ranch. First thing we have to do is we have to get a legal team in place that has to be paid for, that will file our 501c nonprofit documents. We have to get a website up. We have to get media up. We have to get social media going. We have to get you know, emails, and we have to get you know, just all kinds of literature and things like that that we can put in the hands of people. It costs money to do that. This is $1 million project, multi-million-dollar project, but it's got to start here. We got to start the foundation. We got to get it going. That's going to take your help. I'm reaching out to you and asking you can do something. Whether it's $1, whether it's $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million would be great. Whatever it is, you can be part of helping us stop the suicides. And I'm asking for your help. So please reach out to me at westerncrossfoundation@gmail.com. I'll be happy to reply to you. We'll have multiple conversations, whatever you need for me to help you feel good about what you're going to do. I'll be happy to. Western Cross Ranch is where esprit de corps lives and healing begins. Please be part of that. As always, it's God, country, and family here, and I appreciate your time. God bless you. Reach out to me. Let's do something together. We can make a difference.